Hello Techies, welcome back to our channel UiPath by Sujitha. Today we are going to learn about one of the predefined workflows, that is global exception handler. Global exception handler. So quickly open your notepad or take a notebook and pen and make notes of what you are going to learn through this video. Excuse me, so that it will be easy for you to refer it again whenever it is needed. Also, my sincere advice to the beginners of UiPath, not to learn the concept just for the perspective of interview. Please understand the concept thoroughly. Watch the videos again and again, whether it is from our channel or from other channels, but try to understand the concept so you'll rock in interview as well, also during your career. So let us dive into this global exception handler today. So global exception handler, global. So globally in the entire project. Exception handler, it is going to handle the exceptions, right? Globally in the sense in the entire project, in the entire automation, it is going to handle the exceptions. So this is a predefined workflow which is going to determine the process behavior when an unexpected exception is caught. Okay, so let me quickly give a definition of this. Let us note it down. So it is a predefined workflow. That means we are not going to design this. It is already designed by the UiPath. It is configured in the UiPath Studio in such a way that if there is any unexpected exceptions, expected exceptions or known exceptions, we know as a developer we will be taking care of such exceptions whenever possibility is there. We use try catch, or we can throw and rethrow, all this, right? In order to handle the exceptions, maybe whether it is a business exception or the system exception, if it is caught, I mean if it is known. Just think about the unexpected. So we don't know such kind of exceptions may occur or not. So we don't know when the system may fail. We don't know when the network may fail, right? Even though for unexpected exceptions also, even if you use try catch for the entire project, the the exceptions might be caught using the catch block and it will proceed accordingly. But what if you don't use, what if you don't catch the exceptions? It should be handled, right, in some way or the other. So this is what been performed by global exception handler. The uncaught exceptions, where they are unexpected, can be caught using this global exception handler. So you don't need, no need to do anything with the entire project. Just use one global exception handler so that it will automatically catch the unexpected and uncaught exceptions in the entire project in your automation. Let us write a definition for this. So yeah, this is a type of workflow which is predefined. That means it is already designed to determine the process behavior when encountering an unexpected exception. That means it is not caught using try catch. Okay, even though I am taking a bit time to make you understand this concept, don't worry, you just spend some 15 minutes or 20 minutes of time to get the knowledge on this completely, so that no need to go again and again to refer this whenever time comes. Okay, so it will be in your primary memory, to be frank. Now let us see how to create this global exception handler and what are the activities or the parts of this global exception handler, right? So how to create and then what are the parts or activities. Okay, so before that, let me give you some more information. That is, per a project, there will be only one global exception handler. So, single or only one global exception handler per one project. Okay, fine. This is clear. And one more important point here is, who is going to design this? Is it that developer is going to design, or is it a system configured one? It is configured already. It is pre-configured. How it is configured? What is the functionality? Okay, how functionality I can say. How it works. How it works. What it will do is, it is going to catch the exception from any activity and project, in the entire project I can say, to be more specific. Understood this one, right? So it is not going to work on a single sequence or a single XAML file. Instead, it is going to work on each and every activity from the entire project. Okay, then what it is going to do? It is going to retry the process. Then what it is going to do? It will enable us to enable us, maybe I can say that during the runtime, right, in the project, during the runtime. That means during execution. Now retry the process, and then what it is going to do is, it is supposed to provide a list of actions to be performed, list of decisions to be taken by the executor, whether to abort or to retry. What else are there? Ignore, right? These many. Or continue. Actions. So what is the functionality? It is going to catch the exception from all the activities, from any activity in the entire project during the runtime of the process. And then what it is going to do? It is retrying the process for a fixed number of times. So we can change this accordingly. Then what it is going to do? It will enable us whether to select abort or retry, ignore or continue the actions automatically. Okay, the configuration is already predefined, so that it will be, and also it will be enabling us, the developers, to make changes accordingly. Also, if it is in a attended bot, in such case, we can make adjustments, we can change the process accordingly in such a way that the user can select these options, right? If it is in attended mode, user can select or decide the next step in the sense which one needs to be performed among these above, whether the process needs to be aborted or retried or ignored or continue. Okay, fine. This is the predefined functionality of this is the predefined functionality of this handler, global exception handler. Right, now let us come to this part, how to create. There are two ways to create. So I hope you got the clear understanding on global exception handler, what it is exactly doing. Now how to create this, I'll show you. Instead of explaining, it will be better to understand this visually. Just open your studio. Please do it along with me so that you will understand the concept thoroughly. So just open your studio And if you see here new, you could get a predefined list of workflows, right? Sequence, flowchart, statement, global handler. This is what we are discussing right now. Just click on this. See, it is going to create a predefined workflow for us. Let us just rename this and create. As soon as you create this, if you notice here, it has come up with a set of activities, set of predefined activities, predefined flow. It has configured in such a way that automatically in this entire project where I created this particular workflow, if some exception happens, say for example, let me go back to the main, let me drag some activities. I can say like, let me use, can I go for any, yeah, I'll go for element exist. Where is it? CV, yeah, okay. Let us use this and let me just select for, let me open a Chrome one. I'm just going to indicate this. Okay, this is CV1. Let me take another one. So what I'm going to do is I just used a find element for this particular Gmail. Okay, Gmail element. So what I'm going to do is to test this, I am just closing this so that it should fail because it is not finding this element. It should throw an exception, right? Now let me run this. When you run this file, since that I have not kept it, this activity in a try-catch block, or I didn't throw the exception so that it will be handled in a main block, it is supposed to go to global handler. Now let us see how it is working. I'm just running this file. Find element link Gmail activity timeout exceeded. Okay, so now let us see how it worked. If you just open the output here, let me just increase this. If you see this timeout exceeded, timeout exceeded, timeout exceeded. So it has tried 3 times, retried 3 times if you see. First one is the first execution runtime and next 3 times it has executed. Now let us quickly go back to the, just remember this, go back to the global handler demo where you could see something called a condition to retry count less than 3. That means it is retrying. So to understand this better, first of all, let me explain you the parts here. Okay. Right. So before that, let us complete this part. How to create? 2 ways. What is the first way? First way is create from new workflow. Select global handler. Right. This is first one. And second way, how to create global handler in another approach. Another approach is, if you have any other sequence, say for example, let me create some other I have created one sequence. This is not a global handler. If you see the icon here, it is normal sequence, right? It is not a global handler. You can understand this difference in the icon, right? So now something I'm just adding here, maybe some find element and then maybe find relative element, right? So something, okay? So just ignore what I'm adding, but just for your understanding, you just remember that I have one more sequence file. So just right click on this and you could see the set as global handler. Set as global handler. On click of this, would you like to continue? Yes. Immediately you could observe this icon being changed to global handler icon. If you see here, global handler icon is something like this, right? So the same way it has been changed, right? So now our global handler is this part. I already gave you a note here. What is that? For a single project, there will be only one global exception handler, right? Since that we have already created another global handler, now we asked UiPath to add this particular XAML file as global handler. It has been converted from this to this. You could observe the difference here. Now this been changed back to UI and this been indicating this as a global handler sequence, right? Notice the difference, right? So these are the two ways. One is using this new workflow and select global handler. Another one is to whichever sequence, whichever file, forget about the sequence, to whichever file you want to make it as global handler, just right click on that and set it as, global handler. Immediately it will be changed to global handler, right? Fine. Now let us see the parts. Right, quickly make a note of the second option too for our easy understanding. Right click and set to global handler and any file. Okay. So these are the two ways to create. Now let us concentrate on the main part, that is to understand what is there inside the global handler. You could see one log. What it is doing, it will logs the exception, right? The exception info. This is what it is happening, right? It is been logged here. You could see this part, this red one, right? This is what been logged by this global handler. Fine. So one is log message, which the log level is by default, it is set to error and we can change accordingly as per our organization standards, okay, or as per the project need. Then next part, we have a sequence, a sequence where it has an if block. Based on a condition, it is going to retry or it is going to do some other action. What it is doing exactly? If you see here, choose next behavior. By default, the configuration is set to retry the particular activity 3 times, and even after that it is failing, it is supposed to abort. This is the predefined condition. Now, if we can, even developers can change this and decide whether to abort or continue or ignore or retry, and we can increase the condition level also here, like retry condition. So we can keep it like 2 or 5 or something like that to retry based on the exception, and we can add few more activities also in this then and else blocks, right? So this is very simple configuration. The only thing we need to understand here is there are two important arguments which are predefined. One is error info and the other one is result. Error info is the information on the caught error, right? The encountered error, which is in indirection. That means it is coming from other files to this particular global handler file. That is the reason it is in indirection. Also, the other one is a result which needs to be sent out. This is going to be the error action. So based on this, it is going to whether a retry. If you see here, result, error action is abort. So instead of abort, if we give continue, the result is going as continue, so that it will continue by ignoring also, right? So this way the global handler is being configured by default. So we can make the changes accordingly based on our need also. So let us quickly make a note of this. So one is log message and the other one is if condition. And what else we need to concentrate here? Error info. And error info is in indirection. And the other one is result. Let me remove this, or yeah, result. This is in out direction. This is also, and these remember, these two arguments should never be disturbed. Okay, you are not supposed to remove this two arguments. You can adjust the settings here. The settings in the sense you can adjust the action to be taken, whether instead of abort you can add continue, ignore or retry, something like that. Or even here also, based on the condition, you can make the changes accordingly, or you can add few more activities also, but you should never delete these two arguments. Okay, that's fine. Now so we have covered the parts or activities inside this global exception handler. Now let us see how it is going to work. How it works. Okay, I'll quickly show you a demo for that. As we discussed earlier, what I did, I just created a find element where I'm going to find this Gmail element in the browser. Now for testing purpose, what I'm going to do is I just close the browser. Now let's see how it behaves. As it behaves, 3 times it has retried. That means it went to global handler because it is this particular exception been not caught here. It has went to global handler. Since that it has retried, there is a condition to check whether it is retrying 3 times or not, and it is asking to retry the same action, right? So that is the reason it has retried. If you see, this is 1 retry, this is 2nd retry, and this is 3rd retry. So 3 times it has retried, and even after that, if it has failed, that is the reason it said abort, right? So it has aborted, throwing the exception, logging the message. Fine. Now let us keep some log messages to understand this. I'll just add few log messages here. It's log. Okay, let me type log messages to understand. Don't feel that it is going to be a very big video. Don't skip the video also. So instead of adding it here, let me just Control V. Let me add it at the top. Okay, I'm not going to disturb this. I'll add one more log message just for our understanding, just an info. Okay, entered global handler. Okay, let me keep some stars. Yes. Save it. Now let us just move on and then add one more log message, maybe here. Exit. Fine. Just for our understanding. Okay. So let me run this now again. I'm just running this file. Right, let us see. See, 3 times it has retried because we set it as 3 by default. Now let us do something else here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the retry, maybe just 2, just for your understanding. Okay, let me just run this file. Values provided of the root activities does not. Yes, now it is fine. Now let us see this. So I have changed this to 2, right? So if you could see here, it been tried only twice. Okay, fine. The earlier exception is because I have executed from here itself directly. That is the reason it is not able to get the error info. So now I just move to main file and then I execute it. Okay, that was the exception earlier. Now ignore that now. Now I'll show you some more in detail. So let me remove this one. So what I'm going to do is, we have something called retry for 3, right? Let me keep it as it is. Now I'm going to read the an Excel file. So instead of find element, what I'm going to do is read Excel. Because so far what we understood is, we just understood the first concept, that is this one, the functionality. Whatever we gave, if we gave it as abort, it has aborted at last, right? If we give it as ignore, it will ignore. Okay, now what we are going to do is, we are going to change or decide the next step to be taken by the executor in an attended mode. Now let's see how it is going to do. What I am going to do is, I am going to use a range, read range workbook. Okay, read range workbook, and then I'm going to give a file which is available here. Okay, let me create a file. So I have created a file. Let me select this file. Now fine, right? So what I'm going to do is, I just open this file. Okay, so let us just go back and run this. Main thing you should notice is, whatever activities we are trying, that is not in cover, that is not under try catch block, right? So if you see, it is asking for, this is under another process because I have opened, right? What I'm going to do, I just close this. Don't save. Okay, so I'm going to run this file again. Okay, data is not there, that is the reason it has thrown this exception. Let me fill some data here, and also some ABC. Okay, just save this. Also let us give some data output here. Control K, dt out. Now let us run this. Now it has executed successfully, right? Now what I'm going to do is, I'm just opening this file again now. Again, I'm keeping this, I'm surrounding this through try catch. Okay, under catch, what I'm going to do is, I'm just catching this as an exception, and then I'm adding one log message here. Try to understand what I am going to explain now. This is more important part here. So what I am doing, I am just adding exception.toString. Okay, so before that, what I am going to do, I am just going to add inside catch block. Okay, so just save this and select this as info. Okay, So just understand, since that I have opened the file, it is supposed to give a message, right, saying please close it or something like that. It's been under another process, something like that. So if I surround it through try catch, it is catching the exception, but it is not going inside the, see, the exception been caught, it says another used by another process, but it is not entering, if you understand this, if it is not entering the global handler. Do you know why? By now you should answer. Why? Because we have surrounded this particular activity. Where is our activity? Yeah, this activity with try catch block. So that means we have already caught the exception because this is a known exception, right? So this is the main thing to understand. So whenever it is not surrounded by the try catch, then only it is reaching global handler. I hope you got this. Now one more thing here, we can say that instead of result equals to retry, what we can do is we can use an input from the user. We can take the input from the user so that it can be considered as a result. Okay, so now let us use that. I'm just removing this. If it is less than 3, I'm going to take the input from the user. So I'm going to use input dialog here. Just what to do? Let me select the same. Let me select the same. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use multiple choice. Say ignore, ignore, and then abort, and then continue. If you see here in properties, what I'm doing, I'm just adding some values here. So continue, right? Instead of this, let me add this. Yeah, continue and then retry. So I hope this is fine. Yeah. Ignore, abort, continue and retry. All these options I want to display to user and need to ask for the decision. So that I am going to pass this value into the result. Now what I can do, I just opened the file. I kept it as it is. Now I'm passing this to result, right? Let me go back to main and then let me test this file. Okay. So let us see how it behaves. Instead of retrying for 3 times, it is asking what to do. I am supposed to check, right? If I say retry, it is going to retry. It retried once, right? Again, it is asking me. Again, I'll say retry. So again it has retried and came back. Now, instead of telling this retry, what I'm going to do is I'm closing it back. And then because I know the exception, right? Instead of this, what to do? You can just display this also. Now retry. It will successfully execute, right? Now let me do something here. Let me make this clear, more clear. So instead of input label, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass on the error info dot message. Error info dot what else are there? Let us exception dot message. Let's see whether it will come or not. Dot to string. Let me see how it works. Before that, let us open our file and then run this. Let us go to main, run this. Don't feel that it is going to be more than 30 minutes. This is just for you to make you understand the complete concept and how best. See, the process cannot access the file. It is giving this exception and is asking what to do. So when I say retry, it will retry once and come back and ask me because the file is already open. Now I'm just closing this file and I'm telling like please retry. Then it is successfully done. So this way we can use it in an attended mode also. Okay, so we have learned many concepts, many things on this particular global exception handler. Let us do a quick recap. We have understood that the global exception handler is a type of workflow designed to determine the process behavior when encountering an unexpected exception. And we understood that there will be only one global exception handler per one project. Even though if you select the other file as a global exception handler, it will divert, it will take away from the, it will revoke, and it will configure only single file as handler. Next, you should keep in mind that it is a pre-configured one. Nothing to worry about, like how it is going to catch from different files and all. It is not only from mail, if it is from other file also it will catch. Okay, so next we have understood the functionality. First of all, it will catch the exception from any activity in the entire project during the runtime and retries the process number of times which is being given by the user here as per the configuration, and by default it is 3 times configured, 3 times to retry, and then it will decide based on the input given. By default it is like abort, we can make the changes accordingly. And if it is in attended mode, we have just now we have seen how to make it to user decision and all, right? And there are 2 ways to create it. One is from the new workflow, select global handler, and the other one is right click on any other file and make it as a global, set to global handler, right? And also the parts, what are the available activities in it. It has log message, it has if condition, and the most important things to keep in mind is error info and result. These 2 variables, these 2 arguments should never be deleted. Okay, and also error info is an indirection which will be capturing the error information from the other activities, from other files to this towards this global handler file. Result is something which is shown as out direction, because based on the decision we have given, whether it is abort, ignore, continue or retry, it will result out to the processor, to the executor. And we have seen various flows, various behavior of this particular handler in different situations, right? I hope you got a clear understanding on global exception handler. If you like this video, please give a like and share with your friends and colleagues, and please do subscribe our channel for our more videos. Thank you so much for the support so far. Meet you through our next videos. Until then, keep watching our videos, and happy learning, happy automating. Bye bye.